Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Vietnam Stock Market Opportunities. It's an honor to be with you today. And if you want to open a legal trading account, please contact us with the email Vietnamstockmarket.entry@gmail.com, Telegram Vietnamstockmarket.entry, where the phone number is 8491-432-6556. Or you can also scan the two QR code on the screen so that we can support you. And the other way to contact with us is please follow and subscribe the channel name Areca Capital's channel. The owner of this YouTube channel is Areca Nguyen. She's a personal financial advisor and a Viet Capital Securities Stockbroker Minister. You can contact her with the email hongdongyuan@vcsc.com.vn with the phone number is 8491-432-6556. And we always welcome you to our office on the 11th floor, 109 Trường Đại Street, Hoàn Kiếm District, Hà Nội, Vietnam. And today I'm going to share with you about the Vietnam Strategy 2023. And let's come to the transportation. Logistics players expanding capacity to support growth. Aviation continues to recover. Summary. Logistic players should be beneficiary from the resilient growth of FDI inflows and Vietnam's export-focused manufacturers, which are major drivers of cargo volume and infrastructure needs. Despite headwinds from a global economic slowdown, we believe logistics players who are expanding their capacities will support their profit growth. Vietnam's infrastructure development is resuming after delays. Since December 2022, major projects such as the North-South Expressway Phase 1 and Phase 2, the third terminal of Tân Sơn Nhất International Airport and Long Thanh International Airport Phase 1 have started construction. In terms of the passenger aviation segment, we currently forecast the 2022 domestic volumes of Vietnam's two major airlines, HVN and VJC, to surpass their pre-COVID levels. Meanwhile, we expect a gradual recovery of the international air transportation that will be driven by a further resumption of air transportation and tourism activities by China in 2023-2024. We believe higher oil prices will put pressure on the profitability of airlines. We expect that low-cost carrier VJC will start to report a positive bottom line in its transportation segment in 2022, whereas full-service carrier HVN will only start to record profit in 2025, mainly because of the pressure of high fuel cost and its relatively high cost base. As a result, the valuations of both airlines look fair. We currently have market performance ratings for VJC and HVN. We believe well-positioned logistics players such as GMD and SCS will gain more market shares in their key subsections and be well prepared for their next growth phases over the long term. However, we expect their year-over-year profits growth to slow in 2023 forward. Our stock picks are Saigon Cargo Service, a company with a strong market and financial position that operates in the air cargo terminal subsection, which we believe is well positioned to take more air cargo volume market share at SGN, and Chimadet, a port operator that is set for solid capacity expansion and superior profit growth in the next 3 years, whereas its competitors do not have major capacity expansion plans. Let's continue with the transportation coverage key data. Let's see on the screen. Transportation coverage summary valuations. Infrastructure development resumes after delays. Aviation infrastructure major projects start construction. Major projects are starting construction. The third passenger terminal at Tanzania International Airport began construction on the 25th December 2022. This project is set to add 20 million passengers to SGN's currently capacity of 28 million passengers per year by late 2024. In addition, Long-Tan International Airport Phase 1 is initiating construction. However, the bidding of one key sub-project is not finished, and land clearance remains at 97%. This new major airport will have a capacity of 25 million passengers and 1.2 million tons of cargo and will share traffic with SGN starting in late 2025, according to the initial timeline. Progress of aviation infrastructure projects. Expected development timeline in Long-Tan International Airport. The aviation sector will benefit from the launch of new airports. The Airport Development Master Plan for 2021 to 2030 has been submitted to the Prime Minister for approval. This master plan was proposed by MOT and includes 6 new airport developments, which will increase Vietnam's total number of airports to 28. The 6 new airports include LTA, Nha San, Sơn La Province, Lai Châu Province, Sapa, Lao Cai Province, Guangxi Province, and Phan Thiết, Bình Thuận Province. Suggestions have also been made regarding 9 other airports slated for the long term. Apart from key airports such as LTA, the government plans to encourage PPP schemes for the other new airports. New airports to come online over the medium term. Road infrastructure development has been delayed compared to initial plans, but continues to be pushed by the government. The development of road infrastructure is resuming after several large projects trailed their expected timelines. The eastern section of the North-South Expressway Phase 1 total length of 658 kilometers includes 3 PPP sub-projects and 8 sub-projects invested with state capital. As of mid-November 2022, construction was completed for 56% of the project's total construct value compares to 41% as of mid-2023. According to the authorities' original timeline, among the 10 sub-projects under construction, 4 state-invested sub-projects were set to be completed by year-end 2022, but they have been delayed so far. Currently, the timeline for one of them has been extended to 2023. During the last week of 2022, Ho Chi Minh City began construction of 3 road highway projects, including roads and to ease traffic congestion surrounding SGN to prepare for SGN T3, National Highway 50 and the Anfu intersection in Turek City. These projects have a total combined cost of 10 trillion Vietnam dong, 434 million US dollar. Road infrastructure will continue to be focus of the government over the medium term. In January 2023, construction of phase 2 of the eastern section of the North-South Expressway will begin per the MOT. Phase 2 is set to be completed in the 2021 to 2025 period, has a total length of 729 kilometers and is divided into 12 sub-projects at an estimated total investment cost of 147 trillion Vietnam dong, 6.3 billion US dollar. This project will mainly be financed with state capital. The phase 2 project will complete the eastern section of the North-South Expressway, which has a total length of 2,063 kilometers. Stages of eastern section of North-South Expressway. Development progress of sub-projects of eastern section of North-South Expressway, Phase 1. Seaport infrastructure in key port hubs to be further developed. Deep sea port infrastructure continue to be prioritized to support growing trade. In northern Vietnam's container port hub of Hải Phòng, the Lake Huynh port continued its expansion and received approval from the Prime Minister for expanded berths to accommodate larger container vessels of up to 200,000 DWT, increasing the Hải Phòng area's maximum vessel size. GMD also began the construction of the second phase of its Nam Định Vũ port in Hải Phòng. Nam Định Vũ phase 2 to operate in Q1 2023. 70% of Nam Định Vũ phase 2's construction was completed as of early November 2022. Phase 2 is on track to be launched in Q1 2023, which will increase new container handling capacity for GMD's Hải Phòng ports by at least 34%. We believe this new capacity will be absorbed by structural growth in the area as more downstream ports are operating at high utilization. GMLink Phase 2 to start operation in 2024 forwards. We expect GMLink Phase 2, GMD owns 65% but treats GMLink as an affiliate to partially start operation in 2024 forwards and fully operate in 2025 forwards, in line with GMD's latest guidance and behind the previous plan of 2023 forwards and 2024 forwards respectively. GMLink Phase 2 will have a capacity of 1.5 million TEUs with an estimated capex of around 300 million US dollar. Previously, GMLink Phase 1 was put into commercial operation in early 2021 in the downstream Gai Map Port booster with a capacity of 1.5 million TEUs, or 30% of total container throughput capacity in the area at that time. Air cargo faces weakening world trade activities and more competitive modern maritime shipping cost. Global air cargo volume growth is losing momentum, according to data provided by the International Air Transport Association. Industry-wide cargo ton kilometers softened by 10% year-over-year in 10 months 2022. This softening was from a high base recorded in 10 months 2021, when air transportation became more attractive as one, maritime shipping cost will balloon, and two, importers prioritize timing and try to avoid unexpected prolonged lead times due to COVID-19 disruptions. Actual and seasonally adjusted global CTK levels. Air transport is losing its short-term price competitiveness boost. According to data provided by the IATA, air cargo charges per kilogram were 7 times higher in October 2022 than container maritime shipping charges per kilogram, compared to 4 times 1 year ago, and are set for further increases. Maritime container shipping prices has returned to pre-COVID levels, dropping 85% in 2022 for the Hong Kong-Los Angeles route due to weakened trade activities. Meanwhile, air freight rates corrected in 2022 but were high compared to the pre-COVID level. According to global shipping consulting firm Drewry, average freight rates for east-west routes softened from 2 times the pre-COVID level to 1.5 times the pre-COVID level in 10 months 2022. Although the number of passenger flights recovered, passenger flights from China remains sluggish due to that country's strict COVID restrictions. As such, the belly hold cargo and passenger aircraft only partly recovered that and eased air freight prices. Belly hold cargo accounted for 38% of international air cargo in July 2022, compared to 37% in July 2021 and 50% in July 2019. Rural air freight rates east-west average rate. Rural Hong Kong Los Angeles container rates. Ratio of chargeable rates per kilogram for air cargo compared to maritime containers. We believe maritime container shipping costs in 2023 will be significantly lower compared to the peak levels of 2022. Our expectation is based on weakening world trade activities and easing COVID-related supply chain disruptions, while the potential recovery of China's trade and stocking activities in mid-2023 could support maritime shipping prices. We do not expect prices to bounce back multiple times compared to pre-COVID levels as in 2021, early 2022. Therefore, global air cargo could experience softer volume in 2023. However, we expect growth for SCS The IATA forecasts a 4% year-over-year in construction in global CTK for 2023. For SCS, we project 10% growth in 2023 cargo volume thanks to its acquisition of its large airline client. Container price index by route. Domestic aviation market activity surpasses pre-pandemic level. Domestic air transportation remained well above the pre-COVID level in 11 months 2022, put pent-up demand subsided. Domestic air transportation activity surpassed the 2019 level in 11 months 2022. According to data from Airport Corporation of Vietnam, the total number of domestic passengers that came through its domestic terminals, which cover all domestic terminals in Vietnam, with the exception of Vân Đồn International Airport in Quảng Ninh Province, was 80.5 million in 11 months 2022, equivalent to 118% in the 11 months 2019 number. Domestic passenger numbers were phenomenal in the summer, with the number of domestic passengers in May, June, July, August 2022 equal to 133%, 140%, 141%, 136% of the respective numbers in May, June, July, August 2019. However, the number of domestic passengers cooled in October and November 2022 and equaled 111%, 108% of the pre-pandemic level, respectively. Number of daily flights for Vietnam's two leading airlines in 2019, 11 months 2022. Number of monthly domestic passengers going through ACV's airports. Strong domestic tourism demand has been a major engine for the recovery of Vietnam's domestic aviation sector, but the momentum diminished is in early Q4 2022. According to the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism, the number of domestic tourists in Vietnam in 11 months 2022 was 96.3 million, surpassing the same period in 2019 by 23% and likely set to cross the 100 million threshold for full year 2022. However, in early Q4 2022, there were signs of diminishing domestic tourist spending. Based on data from the VNAT, we estimate the number of domestic tourists dropped 63% in November 2022 from the peak in July 2022. Even though Q2 is normally a peak season for tourism, and the number of domestic tourists normally softens toward the end of the year, the decrease of domestic tourists in November 2022 was significantly steeper than pre-COVID, compared to less than 10% in July, November 2018, and less than 11% in July, November 2019. Moreover, the average number of domestic tourists in October and November 2022 was 10% and 29% lower than the average monthly number of domestic tourists in 2018 and 2019, respectively. We attribute this abnormal slowdown to economic headwinds impacting consumer income and discretionary spending of the middle class. Number of domestic tourists in Vietnam in January 2020, in 2018, November 2022. We forecast that HVN and VJC's domestic segments will surpass their pre-COVID levels in 2022. In this November 2022 report, the International Civil Aviation Organization lowered its forecast domestic seat capacity of airlines in the Asia Pacific region to 85% and 81% of the 2019 level in its 2022 bull and bear scenarios, down from 100% and 93% in its August 2022 forecast, respectively. In our forecast, total domestic volume in terms of revenue passenger kilometers, RPK of Vietnam's two major airlines will equal 116% of the pre-COVID number in 2022, as we have seen strong growth in domestic air travel demand during the sector's initial recovery. We forecast the total domestic RPK of HVN and VJC to be 120%, 125%, 130% of the 2019 number in 2023, 2024, and 2025 forward, respectively. Yeah, and that brings me to the end of my presentation today about transportation. So if you want to open a legal trading account, don't hesitate to contact with us with the information on the screen so that we can assist you. Thank you for your listening and see you next time.